Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new Let's Play, or at the very least, not a brand new Let's Play, but another attempt at the Let's Play I've been trying to do quite a few times now, but has, well, fallen flat on its face, to say the least. Anyway, this is Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood. And, don't get used to me doing live commentary, because I have finally decided I'm gonna friggin' post-com this shit. I'm just doing the live commentary for this part of the first episode, and and later on it'll kind of interchange between live commentary and post commentary because post commentary because mostly the post commentary parts are gonna be like the sort of normal MMO faffing around in the overworld, whereas the live commentary is going to be the dungeons and trials and boss fights and stuff like that. So, because I can stay sane while doing live commentary much easier in that shit than I can the normal faffing around. And, well, I'll probably leave the faffing around in for 1 or 2 episodes and never again. Because it's very basic faffing around stuff. I might cut to and from places because, dialogue and all that, but I'm not going to show me walking around places or killing enemies or anything like that. Anyway, on to the character creation, which is the entire reason why I'm doing this live commentary in the first place right now. Because I want to give an in-depth, well, sort of in-depth look into the character creation system. And I already have a character ready to go for this playthrough. Obviously haven't made him yet because, because, if he was already in the world and all that stuff, I wouldn't be able to show you the opening cutscenes and all that, so yeah. Anyway, the game has 5 races to start off. Here, Elizin, Lalafell, Mikote, and Roganin. Here, bog standard human, Elizin, bog standard elf. Lalafell, kind of a mix between a child and a child elf and a dwarf, and just you can easily compare them. You can easily just call them the dwarves of this game, but they're a lot more adorable. Mikote are cat people, and then Roganin is. The simplest I can put it is a race of Hulks and She-Hulks. That's honestly the simplest I can put it. And then via the expansion Heaven's Word, you gain access to a 6th race, the Aura, which are basically, as described by by Square Enix themselves, demon people. I know they look very dragony and stuff like that, but well, as the description over there says, there's a lot of differences between them and dragons that just point them out to be more demon people-esque, I guess. Anyway, obviously you can choose your gender. Each race also has 2 sub-races for cures. They are the Midlander and the Highlander. Highlanders are obviously taller a bit. They're a bit more athletic and strength-minded. Also, each sub-race has its own starting attributes. Don't care about these. They do not matter. Period. It's like, by the time you reach endgame, they'll give you like 10 more damage, maybe. And in terms of health, it really doesn't matter. It's just ignore the starting attributes. They do not matter. Anyway, for Elizin, you have the Wildwood and the Dusk White. Obviously, there are some base appearance differences with these races, and that's the reason why I'm showing them off, even though the other attributes don't fucking matter. With Lalafells, you have the Plainsfolk and the Dunesfolk. My main is actually a Dunesfolk Lalafell. Don't want to do that. For Mikote, you have the Seekers of the Sun and Keepers of the Moon. I'm personally a fan of the Moon. For Roganin, you have the Sea Wolves and the Hellsguard. Oh, don't stop doing that to me. And for the Aura, you have the Rayon and the Zayla. Anyway, stop doing that to me, seriously. Um, I'll just keep going on here. Each race does onto the character creation menu itself. Each race does have some sort of thing that makes them unique from the other races in terms of what's customizable. For Hures and Rogadin, it is actually your muscle tone. I don't know why this doesn't apply to Elizin, Mikote, and Aura as well. Lalafel's I'm a little understandable because well, look at this. Do you really want to see a chiseled marshmallow? Do you really want to see that? I mean, I suppose I'd want to see it for the hilarity factor, but but eh. But yeah, I do have to question why muscle tone doesn't apply to the other races, but meh. Um, if there is anything else about the Heroes and Rogadin that's different from the other two, I don't remember it. I actually haven't really fiddled around with Rogadins much at all. If I remember correctly, I only have uh, one look saved for them, and even then, it's not great. Alright. For some reason, my mic decided to give me a stupid, so that's what the cut there was for. For the for for the Aura, you see those horns on their face? For some reason, that is not one of the. For some reason, that is not one of the racial things that you can that is unique about them. You can change it, oh yeah, but it's also tied to your base face, which is dumb. It's like, can we just choose which set of horns we want and not change our entire facial structure along the way too? Please, please. Anyway, the other thing that Auras have is the limbo rings, which are these glowy kind of edges to their eyes, and obviously the color of these. And along with Auras, Mikotes have this as well, the tail shape and length. Quick, this is something I'm going to quickly mention. There is someone later. There is a function to change the kind of the more general appearance of your character, not your gender, not your race, but your hairstyle, your lipstick, stuff like that, called the aesthetician. For some weird reason, you cannot change the tail shape of Mikote's via the aesthetician, even though at the end of the day, it's all just hair. I can understand not changing the length, because that's actually bone and muscle, but can we please get the ability to change the shape? Because it's all just hair at the end of the day. So I think we're fine. And you know, if people who made All Raw want to bitch about it, tough shit. They're, you know, they've got scales and shit for their tails, not hair. So this at least makes sense. All Raw, not All Raw. Lalafell and Elizin have the ear shape and ear size as their special thing. And actually, let me check. Let me just check and make sure that Elizin don't have other things. Oh yeah, Elizin and Mikote also have ear clasps. Fancy, I guess. Earrings are an actual piece of equipment in this game, so if I want a fancy looking earring, I'll just wear a fancy looking earring. I think that's about it in terms of the unique stuff. So, since I will actually be playing Lalafell for this game, anyway, this is the point where I'm going to quit character creation and just load the appearance data that I have saved while I go through all of the other not unique stuff. Yes, this is the character we should be using, and actually I'm going to decide to, yeah, I'll do that. Kind of tired of playing the absolute shortest Lalafell I can on my main. Let's play the absolute tallest Lalafell I can for this playthrough. Anyway, obviously you have the height. If you were female, you would have bust size. On Lalafells, This actually does change something. It's very minute. Basically, you go from a complete washboard to about an A cup. I don't know why, but hey, it works. You have your skin tone, skin color, you have your hairstyle. There's a lot to choose from, and you can unlock more in the game. Uh, Although, if there's one complaint I would have to say about this system, it's that most of the male hairstyles, no matter which race they're going for, don't look that great. I gotta be honest. That might just be me, but more often than not, I find myself only enjoying like one or two hairstyles, maybe three at most. In terms of stuff that's male specific, obviously you got stuff down. Uh, Also, another part about the system that I really don't like, and this goes for both genders, there are race-specific hairstyles at the very top of the list. I can't. I believe it is this point. I believe this is. I believe this is one of the hairstyles that is available on all races and is male specific. So I think I haven't studied this stuff. I haven't looked around with this stuff completely in depth, but I am fairly certain that this hairstyle right here is the first one that is race neutral but gender specific for males. And then it is either this one or this one. One of these two hairstyles is the start of the gender neutral and race neutral hairstyles. Yes, even this thing. But and of course, for some asinine reason, they have to give us pompadour. I don't know why. It looks stupid. Please don't use it unless you're trying to go for a joke. But yeah, if there's one thing about this game that I would very much like to end, it is the race-specific hairstyles. Just let us use. It's like the only ones that make any amount of sense are the all raw, because some all-raw hairstyles have extra horns in them. Those, I can understand being race-specific, because seeing horns on, well, any other race is kinda weird. But can we please have the other race hairstyles on the other races? Like, there are actually some Rogan ones that I would love to have on my other characters, but I can't because of reasons. Anyway, after that rant, you got your hair color. There's also highlights. I'm not using highlights, but you can. You got your general face. This is just kind of, I guess, the closest you could call it is starting face. I don't know. You got your jaw options, eye shape options. As you can see, the system's not overly in-depth. Iris size, please always go for large. Going for small makes it look kind of creepy, honestly. You have your eye color. You can have them be different colors if you so choose. I usually only do that if I want to have one of them be blind. Personally, anyway. You got your eyebrows. Your nose options. Obviously, you know, they're gonna vary depending on the race. Got your mouth options. You got your lipstick, which, yes, even the males can wear, which is nice, I guess. You got your ear, obviously, as I said earlier, Lalafels and Elezen have ear shape and ear size, along with all the other stuff. You got your facial features, which includes facial hair for males, and other things like that. I'm not the biggest fan of facial hair on Lalafels, but I suppose it works. You got tattoos, although I do really wish that they would give us the option for body tattoos at some point, especially when looking at later pieces of gear like the Arachne set, scouting and striking sets, the level 70 artifact armor for Summoner. They've got tattoos on them, and they look really nice, and I really wish we could just have them instead of having to wear those sets in order to have them. But anyway, tattoo color. You got your face paint, which can range from actual like standard face paint designs, more stuff that's more like war paint, and then just simple dirt. And this one I like to use for dirt and color it well, color of dirt, and freckles if you want, although this character already has freckles by default, so no need. And then face pick color, and finally, their voice. Now this can range from either Now these can range from either very nice, very annoying, or just plain weird. Like, I don't like that voice at all. That's at least fitting, although it can get kind of annoying at times. That's my usual preferred voice for male Lalafell, and then you have, well, something that sounds like a normal adult male, which doesn't fit too well, but I'm kind of tired of going with type 1, so I'll just go with this at some point. I'm not showing off all the voice, and this is something that might have to be fiddled around with, but I swear that there are certain voices that are tied to certain races, like I know that one is definitely Lalafell only, but while this one basically goes for all races, but they kind of it's not as specific as the hairstyles, like, at all. So it can be kind of hard to discern. It can be kind of hard to figure out at times which ones are race specific and which ones aren't. Honestly, I don't care. Most of the voices are good. They don't get on my nerves. That's really all I can ask. Anyway, that is it for the actual appearance creator. Uh, may as well. You can also save your appearance data. As you can see, I have saved a lot because I like to fiddle around with this damn thing. Yeah, I'll just save over that to save the height since I decided to change that. Up next is your character's Eorzean birthday. I guess in my case I can just make it my birthday. Or the equivalent of my birthday. They do give, uh, as you can see I'm playing this on PC, I just play with a controller. They do give what am I trying to say? They tell you the equivalent real world date for whatever date you're picking. So obviously the 7th sun of the 6th astral moon is November 16th. Although it does kind of weird me out that they have 32 days. Makes me... Apparently, the 29th and the 30th are the same damn day in this world. But, obviously, in terms of the months, it just goes in order from January to December. This is your guardian deity. The elemental attributes matter even less than the starting attributes of the races, because in terms of actual elemental defenses, most damage in this game doesn't even have an element, so that doesn't fucking matter. These elemental attributes do actually have a small purpose for gathering and crafting, and I might show that stuff off if I decide to do one particular aspect of this game that I haven't really decided whether or not I want to do yet. And those are the beast tribes, 2 of which are specifically crafting beast tribes. So if I decide to do the beast tribes, gotta level a crafter in order to show them off. Show them all off anyway. Well, suppose this is the closest to what I'm actually gonna have this character start as, question mark. And now you have your starting job, or class. So yeah. Warrior it is. Oh, wait. I do not want to go to Exodus. I do not want to go to Exodus. This screen lets you choose your server. When you first start 14, you'll be asked to choose a data center. There are 6 data centers around the world. 3 for Japan, 1 for Europe, and 2 for North America. I do hope they will add a 7th for Australia specifically at some point, because their connection to the Japanese servers is not great. Plus, well, they're connecting to Japanese servers, so, you know, can't always understand shit that other players are speaking. Obviously, your client side depends entirely on what you choose and not your data center. Anyway, you will notice these stars next to certain servers. These are what Square Enix calls preferred worlds. Basically, worlds that they say don't have quite as many players as they feel they should, so they give people incentives to create characters on these servers. And as you can see, all of my characters are on Diabolos. I never really got the impression that Diabolos was low populace. I really didn't, but I guess they feel that it is, so, you know, whoop-de-doo for me. I was gonna pick Diabolos anyway, because that's where all my friends are, so I can obviously get help from them when I need it, but, you know, it also happens to be a preferred world for experience, so, goody. As for what the legacy servers are, those are the servers that existed during 1.0's very, very shitty existence. And for some reason, I don't know why, but before Base of Reborn came out, fully came out, back when it was in beta, people who played during 1.x, could carry over their characters, but they had to stay on one of these legacy servers. Don't know why. Thankfully they fixed that at some point. I don't know exactly when. But they could also create new characters on the other servers. It's just they couldn't transfer their characters to those servers. They had to transfer their characters between legacy servers. Don't know why. As I said before, don't know why, but it's not a big deal anymore. Anyway, I probably should have mentioned which data centers are which. Aether and Primal are North America. Are the North American servers, so if you're more likely than not, if you're watching this, one of those will be the ones you play on. Oh, god damn it. I'm trying to remember the name of the European data center, and it's not coming to me. I am sorry. I should have written those down before starting this. Anyway. Yeah. The only Japanese data center I remember the name of is Mana, and that is literally it. I'll put the other 3 data centers on screen, along with which region they belong to in editing at this point. So yeah, there you go. Again, I'm sorry for forgetting that. I really should have just looked that up before starting this. Anyway, on to Diabolos we go. And thankfully, instead of being an idiot and trying to decide on a name right here and right now, I had this written down long before I ever actually started this. So just gonna open up the Google document so that way I can make sure I spell it right. There it is. Seifu Hokai. At least I'm fairly certain that's how it's pronounced. If it's not how that's pronounced, then I shall question some things. Anyway, that shall be it for my live commentary over the character creation and all that good junk. Very, very long. I may even just make this like a preview of starting your character and stuff like that. Before the actual playthrough starts, and you can just skip it if you're watching this on a playlist or whatever, because of just how long this damn thing is. Anyway, what I am definitely going to do though is cut off the recording here, turn my mic off, start recording the actual beginning of the game, so, and doing all that fantastic post-commentary stuff. Anyway, I have been Connor Gustin, Cellular Senior, whatever you want to call me, and yes, that is how you pronounce my main character's name, Cellular Senior. The Insane Wizard, whatever you want to call me. I have been that, and I shall see you next time for when we properly begin Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, Heavensward, and Stormblood. I'll probably be calling it A Realm Reborn while we're in there, then Heavensward, then Stormblood, respectively. Anyway, see you then. Bye-bye.